What's up, guys, and welcome back to the NoShang Invitational. We're in Game 3 in the Best of 3 series. We got Kaipi on the Dire now, Bad English on the Radiant. Bad English took Game 1, Kaipi took Game 2 in a pretty decisive game, and we'll see who's able to move on, who drops down to the lower bracket on Mikelorus. Going to be joined by Mrpdota for this third and final game. Looks like we'll have some real OS Frog here. OD is in the pool, and he's going to be picked.
Well, the first time Enchantress actually does not slip through. TBE going to go with their identical bans from games 1 and 2, but Kaipi going to switch it up and take the Enchantress out of the game. Able to use it to their effect, to good effect last game for themselves. Lost to it in game 1, don't even want to deal with it this time. They'll finally first pick cancels Invoker, which has been second phase banned both games from TBE, so definite some comfort picks. Excuse me, there for Kaipi, and they'll go back for the Beastmaster as well. Oracle going to be nice against both of these heroes, and Oracle OD for obvious reasons, very good.
Zenigata just played the Oracle twice, I believe, so might as well make it a hat trick. Why not? Sing Sing, as I mentioned in the last game, playing a lot of Beastmaster as of late. Not really a huge tempo Beastmaster game last time. Of course, he landed his roars when he needed to, but mostly just split pushing that top lane. Had the roar almost exclusively saved for Ursa in that last game, and I mean, it's an initiation tool, but it's also kind of unlike the Batrider lasso, a tool that you can just throw into the middle of the fight and get quite a lot of value off of, especially if the enemy is as dangerous as an Ursa. Again, it may run into some problems going up against Oracle, but Kaipi have initiation and then some, whereas Bad English gonna grab that OD and put a little bit of their stock into that hero. So we'll see what Bad English want to do in order to diversify their threats. But as you said, OD Oracle, a pretty nice 1-2 combo. Keeping the OD alive means that he's gonna be doing a hell of a lot of extra damage.
Yeah, and he's one of the heroes, one of the few heroes that can deal decently alone with the Invoker in the mid lane. But even with the Alacrity, you can use that 4-second level 1 Imprison early on to secure a couple hits, last hits, a couple denies, and then from there after you get a couple levels up in the Arcane Orb and can start to bring down or harass down the Invoker. So OD pretty darn good in the mid lane versus him. Witch Doctor going to come out. Not too bad at all as a Swiss Army knife support, has to sustain the stun and of course the physical damage, but the physical damage is particularly good versus the Oracle, and sometimes he relies on that Fate's Edict to get his heals off, and Fate's Edict not the Death Ward doesn't really care about that. So TBE gonna go with some more kind of major damage output, more heroes that benefit from the false promise can get some work done even if their death is inevitable. So I do like the Sven pickup here. He's another hero that was banned out, I believe, in game 2, so able to slip through here for TBE. And the cleave is going to be nice versus the Necro units. It's going to be nice versus the Beastmaster units in general. And wow, Enigma pick actually going to come out for Kaipi.
Interesting deviation here from the previous series, or previous game in the series, as Enigma wasn't even touched, and it seems like the gameplay style that Enigma offers just wasn't touched at all. It is due in large part to the fact that Enchantress was picked very early on in both of those games, and I mean, the matchup there is pretty back and forth, but I mean, why would you get an Enigma when you're very happy to take an Enchantress instead? Typically a little bit more tempo comes out of that Enchantress. But yeah, Kaipi, it seems like Enigma, at least for right now, shouldn't have to worry about too many people interfering with his jungle. I mean, Sven, I guess, with someone else, but Oracle as a roamer isn't really super dangerous. Oracle needs to be staying in those lanes, so it seems like this perhaps debatably greedy pick of the Enigma, at least, in order to get net worth, shouldn't really be punished, unless Bad English want to go deep and grab like a bounty hunter-esque hero to try to deal with this Enigma.
I think a Spirit Breaker could potentially work in the offlane for TBE, but they've already picked up the Rubik here. That's a pretty defensive support duo. They're more than likely going to be off in the safe lane for them. The Enigma is that third jungle hero that pretty much always slips through because the Chen and the Enchantress are given so much attention, and that's more than likely because the Chen and Enchantress benefit from the buffs to the creeps in the jungle, but the jungle in general has just been buffed up. So Enigma, even versus Secret, you see it slip through, and we'll see if Kaipi are able to put it to good use. There's no one who, I mean, the Rubik pick now, he'll pretty much reliably be able to get the black hole if he's not in the black hole, but it feels like a decent game for the Enigma. The Sven melee range, of course, OD, very short range, for being a ranged hero. So they both should be fairly susceptible to this black hole if he's able to get something like a Blink Dagger up. And they can also cover the Enigma's initiation with that Beastmaster. So I don't mind the pickup here. We'll see how they do in the lanes. It is a bit greedy in that sense, of course. But thus far, Beastmaster can do well by himself, as we've seen in both games 1 and 2. Invoker should be okay in that mid lane, especially when your ganking roaming support duo is an Oracle Rubik. So I think they can get away with the greed here. I think maybe the one hero that TBE can pick up to really apply pressure is that Spirit Breaker, maybe towards the mid lane where the Enigma can't really help him out.
Brood Gyro going to be taken out as Kaipi are going to finalize their lineup with a Morphling. So Morphling is pretty well positioned in this game. The CC that Bad English have is decent, but not going to be completely locking down that Morphling. The Rubik pick is a little bit interesting to me. It is picked up. I mean, there's a lot of good things to steal. You can get a free steal on the Death Ward most of the time, and the Black Hole, of course, is the big one. The downside is that you have a Rubik and Oracle, two heroes that aren't exactly known for dominating their lanes, offensively at least. Defensively, they'll definitely do their job, but Bad English early on may suffer for a little bit of a lack of damage. If you look at Kaipi's heroes, they pretty much don't have to deal with that issue, which actually doesn't deal a ton of damage, but together with Enigma, he can tear things down very, very quickly, and Morphling can do a surprisingly high amount of damage in the early game as well, so Bad English seems like there's a pretty large damage disconnect between their supports and their cores. If you get a really fat Sven or a really fat OD, yeah, they're gonna go ham, but how are they actually going to get that space? It doesn't seem like that's really guaranteed outside of their lanes just going amazingly well.
Yeah. I would not mind dual lanes from TBE here. Put Oracle +1 against the Morphling. I think you could even do something like a Clinks here, which the Morphling is pretty susceptible to early on. That would be obviously extremely greedy, and they'll probably go for something more utility-based, but Beastmaster will find his farm regardless of if you put Oracle and Rubik in lane or just one of the two. So I feel like maybe they can get a little more greedy, apply some pressure into the Morphling, knowing that the jungle Enigma is there. You're not nearly as scared of an Enigma rotation from the jungle because he's not going to have something like a War Stomp. At the most, he'll have a Malefice. So I feel like that could be a plan for TBE. Ooh. For now, they're going to go for the Doom. Well, I guess that remains to be seen whether or not this will be a dual lane, but that's an interesting pick to say the least. The Doom is... It's nice versus the Morphling, but of course, if you get that Morph off during the cast animation, it's not the most effective. But all in all, there's a lot of great Doom targets in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of upside for the hero, and you will occasionally run into a couple of problems where it's like, well, shit, I just doomed an Enigma who already casted his Black Hole, and whoops, that's just going to happen occasionally. But having Doom and Sven on the front lines, that in of itself is pretty big for Bad English. Like, Kaipi have a Morphling to, like, in theory, get into the backlines, kill off an OD, but if you're an Invoker, then you really don't have any way of getting to an OD. You do want to do damage to that hero, but you just can't because there's so much frontline charging at you, and this frontline is going to be buffed up by the Sven's Warcry, as well as the Rubik's passive in the null field, so these heroes are just going to be, like, absolute brick walls, and if you can't get past them, then how the hell do you deal with this OD? OD is going to be kicking your ass the entire time, not to mention how much damage the Sven and the Doom do. So just having a really, really big front line that's difficult to kill because of their supporting cast, because of their natural survivability, may be a little bit problematic for the KP side, unless they can really abuse that fact and kill them off first. I mean, Enigma with Midnight Pulse, Black Hole can always do a surprising amount of damage, but it is going to be difficult to actually get to the OD, as long as the OD has decent positioning at all.
You see this all chat right now? Hurry, man. There's 3 girls taunting come with me right now. He can't take it anywhere. Interesting. But either way.
Sure.
Yeah. I gotta hand it to Own. I mean, he played really well game 1. He played very well in the lanes in game 2. He made a couple of blunders towards the mid game, but he's put together some really solid drafts throughout the series thus far. And yeah, I mean, as you touched upon, the OD is going to be a real scary... Oh, wow, they scout out the smoke with the Sunstrike immediately. So not sure how much this was going to find regardless, but towards the mid lane goes Zenigata. And already they're going to drop down this ward into the mid lane. So going to give them intel as to Enigma and support rotations in towards the mid lane. Going to allow them to get a little bit more aggressive. So smoke movement... probably not going to net a kill. They do have some pretty good level 1 with the telekinesis and the Stormbolt, as well as that Infernal Blade if they choose to skill it up, but doesn't look like they'll find anyone just yet, and they will at least secure the top bounty rune.
I want to say maybe that vision on the smoke kept the Witch Doctor would have otherwise went to block that that side secret shop pull camp, but he knew that if he went that far, he would have died. Not sure if that was the plan in the first place, but that Sunstrike may have just given that additional bit of intel. Usually it doesn't really do all that much Sunstrike. You get a couple of reads on a couple of items, but you don't really get like scouting information of a smoke. So that was very situational, but hey, worked out this time, at least for Cancel and at least for the Kaipi side. But it looks like the lanes, for the most part, are going to be, or they should be, not as expected actually. We got Bone 7 on the Morph lane, currently sitting on the bottom lane, looking to take that hero to the south lane. And we also have the Enigma and Witch Doctor hanging around the area as well. So they're all aboard the pressure train. And it seems like the hero is going to be doomed to go up against that. So TBE kind of with the counter read. They do have the matchup that they would like, but it's still not really a great matchup.
No, and I think the thought process as well from Kaipi is they see the smoke movement, so they figure, oh, they must be coming in our jungle to ward up all the Enigma's camps, so we're going to put Enigma in the opposite side of the map. But really, because TBE knew they were scouted out, they didn't expend any of their economy on blocking the Enigma camp. So a little bit of mind games going both ways here, but either way, it is going to be Trump for president, Sing Sing up in the top lane against the aggressive tri lane of TBE. And TBE, they need a good creep for own. Unfortunately, he's not going to find anything like the Satyr with the Unholy Aura, but for now, should be able to stand in lane at least versus these two heroes.
I don't think the Radiant side know that the Enigma is actually in their jungle yet. They haven't seen him appear in his own jungle or in their jungle, so that might be a little bit of an X factor there. Donald Trump is going to get jumped. He's going to get lifted up, Purifying Flames, maybe get help in a little bit. Not quite enough. Zenigata is going to draw first blood on Sing Sing's Beastmaster up towards top lane. I mentioned earlier this lane doesn't exactly have a ton of kill power, but man, you have a lot of control, you have a lot of right clicks. You will eventually kill off those heroes. It's going to be slow, but hey, slow and steady sometimes does in fact win the race, and Sing Sing losing his first life is bad, but I mean that's pretty much par for the course for a Beastmaster. He's in the safe lane, so he's expected to get a lot more experience. We could already see the wave is pushing into his tower.
Yeah, that 2.25 second cooldown on the Purifying Flames, netting them the kill there. And yeah, that's one of the benefits of Sven, is that he just has that disable as a carry hero early on. So really going to help them out in that lane. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, it's always going to be difficult for the Beastmaster early on, especially versus 3 heroes. And we touched upon it early on in the draft that the OD can certainly trade well in the mid lane. He's sitting 10-4 to the 7-2 of the Invoker. So RVP certainly holding his own in this matchup, and he is low on mana at this point and only has the 1 level in the Essence Aura, but should be fine.
Beastmaster, round 2, they have the telekinesis, they already used everything else. He already has consumed a Fairy Fire as well. Looks like this time the Purifying Flames regen is going to save him at least a little bit, and he will survive. Sunstrike over in mid is going to miss, but with the right clicks and the Maledict, OD should still fall. Cancel will grab the kill, and the aggro will be pulled off at least somewhat by the Enigma. No, not enough actually. The tower switches back to the Invoker. It definitely shot one of those Eidolons once and then switched back to the Invoker. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but either way, the OD dies before the Invoker, so it's still a pretty successful gank there by the Kaipi's team.
Yeah, he'll be able to return lane, will the OD. Ryu soaking up some experience for now, but certainly a good trade, nice rotation in as well. And I mean, the Doom is going to be farming, so once again, we're just going to see Own constantly getting too much out of his lane, but I think he's probably a little bit less effective maybe than the Beastmaster in the Void would be in this one, just because there are so many good Doom targets, and we probably will see KP 5-man. I mean, they have an Enigma, they have a Beastmaster and a Witch Doctor, so all great 5-man heroes. And
Miranda,
yeah,
lifting up Cancel. However, he got Cold Snap beforehand, so the initiation was slightly delayed. And the Invoker was able to put enough damage into Miranda to make him scared about fully committing to that. So the Invoker will keep himself safe. No TPs or anything like that needed. And now we have the Doom in potentially a little bit of trouble. He does not have enough mana to actually cast Scorched Earth. So what you see is what you get here. Malphus is there, plus a hell of a lot of Eidolons. There's a wave form forward. Pone's going to put himself into a corner. Does have the regen up, but it's not enough. Morphling's gonna get the kill with Adaptive Strike. Did that actually get the kill? You never see that, but either way, kill achieved on the Doom. No easy feat, but with those Eidolons there, they'll try to go for that tower, and doesn't seem like there's going to be any sort of response aggressively towards heroes or towers coming out from the TBE side.
Yeah, and that pretty much squares up the offlaners. Both of them sitting on about level 4.5, both of them with 1 death, so everything going to be just fine. Unfortunately, a little bit of poor luck for the OD mid lane with his Arcane Orbs, and gets pretty low. He has to opt for the bottle here. You don't always see that build up on the Invoker, since Sunstrike top lane is not going to be able to connect onto Miranda, but either way, yeah, unfortunately OD going to have to go for that here. He does want to secure the runes here. It's quite easy against an Invoker who generally won't be walking over to those, and perhaps he gets an Arcane Rune or a double damage rune, with which both work very well on this OD. Rotating towards the mid lane though is Miranda, but already there is Ryu on his Witch Doctor. He's been very well positioned in the early game on his Witch Doctor, and pretty much all 3 of these games, as soon as they see heroes missing, he's up to support his mid, but we'll back off for now. He's going to be the little fairy from the courier.
He is just going to be that shield, man. Sometimes it's just not going to be enough, but even though this isn't exactly doing wonders for his experience or his score or anything like that, just keeping the Invoker safe has benefits in and of itself. And the tier 1 bottom tower was already taken. Morphling still will stick in this tower, and it's not even like the Doom is going to be completely safe here, because still he has to worry about Enigma right around the corner. This time the Enigma has the big bad black hole, and Pwn has absolutely no vision. Here come the summons, and there goes the gank. Okay, that wasn't exactly the best, but what can Doom actually do against this? He has absolutely no clearing. So his tower, even the tier 2, is going to take a beating just by a handful of heroes being on this bottom lane. I don't think TBE are really going to be willing to rotate anyone down here either.
Yeah, and he has no points in the Infernal Blade, so even when Bone7 is here 1 versus 1, he really doesn't have much lane presence versus the Morphling. You can't really chase him down with Scorched Earth because he has the waveform, so yeah, I mean, Bone7 completely feels fine to be farming this position, and barring a smoke from the 2 supports of TBE, he's very unlikely to die, so Own getting a good amount of experience, getting very little farm, though, in this bottom lane, and I mean, he'll have his level 6, and perhaps he's able to do something with that. But for now, Morphling having free reign in the bottom lane. Mid lane, they're going to assemble for a push, it seems. They've got the Eidolons as well as the Forge Spirit ready.
Ziggy, Bone7 is going to get doomed. Scorched Earth damage over time kicking in as well. Rubik isn't quite fast enough to catch up to this Morphling, but doesn't matter, because I'm pretty sure Pwn has got this one by himself, and good job, Miranda. You sure as hell earned that one. Over in the mid lane in the meantime, Cold Snap plus Malphus, lots of stuns on this OD, plus another one coming in from the cast. Black Hole is going to catch Zenigata only, however, the OD will pop right back out into it. Sunstrike's actually going to miss, and RVP is still alive, and the Stormhammer comes in onto 2. Fury's going to drive, however, doesn't have mana for enough God Strength. And I Am Puck Come With Me is going to be on the run. Zenigata with the Purifying Flames, right clicks, not quite going to be enough, although he has another one, and he will burn down the Enigma. That imprisoned duration on the OD, saving his bacon. They still get the tower in exchange for the Enigma, but man, that could have been so much better for the Dire team.
Yeah, Cancel usually does not miss those Sunstrikes, but a little bit unfortunate. Gets a little antsy there. Meanwhile, though, it does give a lot of space over to Sing Sing, and they do bring down the second tier 1 already of the game, sub 8 minutes here. So things still overall going well for Kaipi. They force a rotation out from the Sven. It gives Sing Sing some space. They get a couple towers. Got the Roar available and 1,500 gold in his pockets as well. So considering the lane he was up against, this is really good for Sing Sing, and overall for Kaipi looking pretty good. They do lose the Morphling, of course, in that bottom lane, but he's still 600 net worth ahead of the Sven right now, so Bone7 not having a bad time by any stretch.
Bone7 still is forcing a couple heroes to be here. Doom has to wait for another Namesake ultimate to actually kill off this Morphling, but it's like the split pushing Morphling. It usually doesn't kick into gear this early, but hey, whatever works, man. And that is going to free up a little bit of extra space here for the Beastmaster, having to worry about a couple fewer heroes on the top lane. Roar is up, and Necro book components not quite purchased up yet, but he is very close to that. 1,800 gold is quite a lot of cash on this Beastmaster, and with the Enigma going for the shove in the top lane, tier 1 should be able to bring that one down pretty easily. So level 1 Necrobook is right around the corner here for Sing Sing, and that is just going to skyrocket the pick-off potential for the Kaipi side. TBE, they are going to fortify. They're rotating a couple heroes in, however, the rotation is going to be spotted by an invisible Witch Doctor. There's the Midnight Pulse. Gonna drive Fury away, do a little bit of damage here and there to the Rubik. The tower will be held. Seems like you really do need the Invoker with those double Forge Spirits to take that tower easily. However, in the meantime, RVP, there's still an Invisible Witch Doctor here. Cask is going to be deployed. Malphus is there as well, plus the right clicks. No Imprison just yet. There it is. Will the Sunstrike miss? I don't think it's going to miss twice. Here it comes, and it's going to connect and grab the kill. OD down.
Yeah, nicely played. Thought it was a smoke from the Witch Doctor, but ended up being an invisibility rune, so definitely worth the scout there. Wanted to flank that top lane and protect the tower, and he at least gets the into. Oh, Primal Roar is going to go out top lane, and Gedrock's in a little bit of trouble. The Rubik almost burning down to the Midnight Pulse, but he gets off his stick charges and the TP out from the Sven. Everyone able to extract themselves from danger, and they expend that Roar cooldown, but still they're applying pressure. Mid lane, though, there's a Doom up onto Cancel, and he's more than dead in this position. The Cask is going to come out. Maybe there's a deny here. There is a Voodoo Restoration as well. Infernal Blade going to keep the Witch Doctor back, and he survives for now. Cancel on a sliver of HP, 30. He's got that Quas regen, though, taken away. There's no Scorched Earth as well. The Magic Stick charges will be there. Zenigata rotating in, though, to try and find him. And Cancel, he's been pincered in. Purifying Flames will be with the Fortune's End. Killing spree for the Oracle at this point. But yeah, second Doom, second kill for Own, and that's kind of the silver lining so far of TBE's lineup. I mean, once again, Own is the top net worth core on his side. Did have a safe lane this time, granted, but either way, just always seems to find himself some farm, and elsewhere, TBE not doing too well.
Yeah, he's actually going to survive, it seems. Not enough follow-up there. Fury is taking a beating from the Ancients, as is Zenigata. Fury's going to die to this. 3 HP? Nope, there he is. So, 5 to 3 to 1 right now, I guess, for Fury. That's not exactly what you want to do, but hey, I guess he got some of it. Oh, is this... Oh, no, is this range creep going to... Okay, never mind. I was like, is Sven really just going to last hit from Beyond the Grave? Doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. But either way, Sven down for whatever reason. Tower down in the top lane as well. Necro Book almost completed here for Sing Sing. And Kaipi, I mean, they do have to deal with this Doom. And so far, they haven't really had a great response. They killed him off once, but that's definitely not going to do it. They're going to try to go for him again. Sunstrike, Adaptive Strike, level 1. Not really going to do a ton. Yeah. Kaipi, once they get this book, and they now do have it, they have another Roar available, I think it's time for them to look for a couple more pickoffs. If they can get this Doom, that'll be a lot of gold, and if they can get this Oracle, actually, that's also quite a bit of cash.
Yeah, and I mean, Doom just innately very tanky against magic damage, so they are going to need to bring more targets. He's got great raw HP. They're still doing well. I mean, OD is not farming great at all. He'll have a set of drums up fairly soon. The Doom will as well, so they'll be a little bit more fight ready, but not just yet a major presence in these fights. And they'll have the Roar back up, as you mentioned. They have the Necro ones, so certainly pickoff potential is real at this point. They've got the Black Hole available for the counter initiation after this Roar if there is a response. So it looks at this point that TBE are going to try and dodge fights, and that's certainly understandable until at the very least they have the Doom, which did just come back up. But for now, they're going to assemble towards this top lane, and it looks like in the meantime, but over in the Roche pit, Come With Me and Sing Sing, a little bit sneaky here with all their units available to them in the Borslow as well onto the Roche. They should be able to bring this down pretty easily. Forge Spirit's even going to come through for the minus armor, and yeah, 12 minutes in, they're going to find themselves a free Roche. A traditional trade is going to be attempted top lane with the God Strength popped up. There is no glyph left on the Dire side, so they will get this pretty much uncontested, but their tier 2 bottom is going to be in a little bit of trouble, and with the Aegis on Kaipi's hands and the God Strength on cooldown, you're unlikely to see TBE defend this.
There's such a massive zoo here for Kaipi. They have the Eidolons, they have the Pigs, they have the Forge Spirits, and with the Aegis, Black Hole, and Mechanism, they don't even have to stop here. TBE, they have to respect this. If they decide to race, they're going to lose Raxes, so that's just not a good idea. And if they try to fight this, they almost need a Doom to land on this Invoker, but even then, he has the Aegis, so they could just kind of sacrifice the Invoker to trade his Aegis for the Doom, and then continue the fight thereafter, not to mention the Roar and the Black Hole that they have. So we're going to see these massive range creeps just beat down this tower. It's only 13 minutes in the game, mind you, and already a tier 3 is going to fall. It's a lot of extra cash, and we can see Cancel, he wants to be doomed. He's just like giving Pwn a hug. And it seems like it's going to be the Enigma instead to get doomed. That means no Black Hole, that means no Mechanism, and OS Frog needs to back off right now. Fortune's End going to stall up 3 heroes. In the meantime, Fury's Hammer is going to come in a little bit too late, and Mrpdota going to draw it down to the south. Once again, Witch Doctor takes the bullet for the rest of the squad. Enigma's Doom is going to time out shortly. He still has that mech. Do they want to continue this fight 4v5? With no ultimate on the Doombringer, I think it may be time to continue this push. They just have to get a little bit of time to reassemble the troops. Can they really go in? Wait for him in. Bone 7 wants to go in, but he's going to get obliterated very low. He's still alive, though, with the mechanism as well. Bone 7's going to start Strike Dwarfing. Black Hole's going to be immediately canceled by the Enigma. I didn't see what actually did that, but either way, no Black Hole for this fight, as Ziggy's now going to start taking some heavy hits from the OD. That's the Morphling down. And now Kaipi have got to just turn it around and book it. They still have the Aegis, but they cannot afford to fight this one. Pone's going to pop the Scorched Earth. Fortune's End from downtown's going to stall him up, plus the Infernal Blade, plus the beatdown Aegis is going to be off the Invoker, and he should die a second time. Is there any True Sight here? He's going to try to Ghost Walk? Okay, well, there's no True Sight there, so he will survive probably for his second life. But Kaipi, that was a Morphling waveform initiation. That's not exactly the best way to start a fight.
I mean, we talked about Bone 7 being Havost-like in his carry play potentially, and that certainly looked like it there, but Rubik stole Black Hole. Like, you kill cancel there. You solo Black Hole him off the Aegis respawn. That is just a very odd play from the Rubik. I think TBE take that even more handily if he's not so stingy with it, and feels like that's a misplay. Feels also like that's an overextension from Kaipi. They do get punished for it 12 minutes into the game. Well, Zenigata, he maybe die here. Yeah, no false promise available to him. Gets the jump charge off. They need a couple more right clicks. The Eidolons will finish him off, though the OD is right clicking heavily, and they are going to fall with the Enigma. Now Cancel in trouble as well. A couple more right clicks. OD finds a kill for RVP. You cannot give this hero this kind of momentum. They're trying to find something in the top lane, but no mana right now. Necrobook's cooling down soon. Doom can devour one of those up. No, 20 seconds until Devour is available, so they will pop the Necros. They should get this tier 2. No Radiant Glyph at this point, so they will get that tier 2, which is a decent trade, but losing your Invoker and your Enigma is certainly undesirable, and now they still do have this Rubik Black Hole. He's only 150 gold away from a Blink if he wants it, so maybe they farm that up with the Fade Bolt. They go for a smoke, try to use this Black Hole before it expires.
And even if they don't get that, it's super easy to get that Black Hole. As long as Enigma casts it, you should be able to steal it. And if not, you can still just blink Telekinesis, and that sometimes is just good enough. Getting the Invoker out of position, or getting the Morphling slightly out of position, can be the difference between winning a fight and losing a fight. So, bottom line, it is still the Rubik to have quite a lot of net worth, and it should be a Blink Dagger. I can't really imagine it being anything else holding that much. There we go. So, Blink Dagger now up on the Rook with still a couple seconds left with this Black Hole. TBE, they do lose the tier 3 tower, and that's a lot of extra gold going into the pockets of the Dire team that usually you won't see until at least 20 minutes into the game. But sticking around for a little bit too long may have costed them that advantage that they got from killing off that tower. So it does seem like with all these summons with the Guardian Greaves they have, it almost seems like they kind of have to keep going for those aggressive plays, and that should involve killing off another Roshan. But that one's not going to be respawning for quite a long time, so we're in a little bit of a downtime period. And that's where Sven, cleaning out that huge stack of Ancients, OD getting all these kills, getting a lot of farm as well, is going to be highly beneficial for the Radiant team.
Yeah, look, things are looking good for TBE after maybe a bit of a rocky start in the lanes. And yeah, it just feels like that overextension from Bone 7. I mean, I hate to harp on him, but over in that bottom lane, once again, costing them pretty heavily. The Greaves is up on the Enigma now, and the Lincoln Sphere is going to come out right now as well for the Morphling. So he can make those plays now without fear of being immediately doomed. He may have to get Purifying Flames first and gives them just enough seconds to maybe replicate out. But either way, feels like maybe at this point he can make moves like that, but he couldn't a couple of minutes ago. Either way, things are still looking up. They're not terrible for Kaipi. The Necro 3 is up. The Lincoln's is up, as just aforementioned. The Midas is ticking away with the drum set over on Cancel. So people are looking fight ready for them mostly. They could really use a blink on the Enigma just because, as you mentioned, the Rubik having a blink, he's going to be able to sit back and at least cancel the Black Hole, if not steal it. So they could use that item, but they seem pretty fight ready. Although TBE feeling more urgent to get into one, and they are going to run into Ryu, so
they can get Sing. Sing is chilling in mid, roars Miranda. But that was the Telekinesis. Oh, they also get Ryu with the God Strength. That's a twofer for the TBE side. Blink Dagger shown off by the Rubik. Gonna get them 2 kills plus a tower. Kaipi, they can try to split push, but they're probably not gonna win any races here.
Yeah, God Strength up, taken away. Glyph is available for the Dire side, and The units are going to encroach upon the tower now, so it'll be an easy tier 2. 20 seconds on the sideline for that Beastmaster. Seems like he used the Roar as well, and they're probably well aware that that's down. The Tornado is not going to catch anyone. They're so low levels in Wex. They didn't cancel the TP on Fury, but they still are going to be able to bring down Cancel just with 2 heroes. Once again, the Blink from the Rubik paying dividends immediately after being purchased, and he gets the low-level Tornado, but either way, I mean, the steal is not really the greatest part of that engagement. They're able to TP Fury out. He deals with the bottom lane. They do lose the tier 2 tower there a long time ago, so no losses in that bot lane, and they're able to pick up the Invoker once again. And this is one of Cancel's best heroes, and if you can keep him down on it, that's definitely going to bode well. Another little thing that we haven't really talked about is Morphling's Replicate gets owned by OD, so if he ever shows it in the fight, I mean, RVP is going to be able to immediately remove that essentially as an escape mechanism for him. So he's going to have to keep it back at all times, probably not going to be able to use it for initiation purposes and only for defensive replicating.
Yeah, try to get the split push game going, and as I mentioned earlier, it is about this time when split pushing starts to become an option for KP. Not a huge option, but something that they can do. But still, now they have the Blink with the Black Hole, should be a little bit easier for Kaipi to get something going. But Black Hole, even though like the dream is real, the 5-man Black Hole, it's not really going to be super easy. Rubik has a freaking Tornado, which is just the cakewalk to cancel those channeling spells. Plus, you know, Blink Telekinesis. Blink Dagger is up on the Sven. We have Doom able to cancel that one out with his ultimate, as TBE just have so many ways to make that difficult for this Enigma, so something else is going to start that fight, and that should be the Beastmaster, but Beastmaster's going to have to get a good angle beforehand. Invoker is going to snipe the Oracle. I was okay.
I heard a Sunstrike, couldn't find it, but yeah, Oracle goes down in the jungle, not sure. Oh, they had the Beastmaster Hawk there. So they had the Beastmaster Hawk near the large camp, able to give him vision, and he's able to pick him off. Top lane, though, come with me, in trouble. He's going to have to Greaves up. The Malefice will keep Gedrix or Fury back for now. But Blink Dagger on the Sven, that'll be at least a reveal to Kaipi that for once does not net a kill for TBE, so that's nice for them to know. Still, though, they're going to need time for Bone 7 to come into this game and become really powerful. He just has that Lincoln Sphere at this point, and he needs at least a Boots of Travel to contribute with Sing Sing to find kills on cores with the Necrobook and TPing in onto the Hawk. So it's going to be a little while, but they are going to look to at least delay the game out with an extra life and deter TBE from going to find a 5-man engagement or to look to go high ground. And this is, once again, a nice shot call here for Kaipi. That's twice this game they've been able to sneak Roche. They certainly have the lineup to do so, but TBE just have not been diligent enough about keeping scouting around the pit. And Kaipi, they're going to take a second Roche of the game.
Yeah, no sense charging in when they don't exactly know where everyone is. They know that if they move in, they have to be smoked. Otherwise, they're probably going to get spotted by a Hawk or a random Forge Spirit or something like that. So a little bit too risky for their tastes. Kaipi, they do have this Aegis advantage right now, and they may feel like this is going to be giving them enough gas to push in towards the bottom lane, finish up those Raxes, and take a really decisive lead in this game. Because right now, the game state is fairly even. But taking a set of Raxes 22 minutes in, then it'll be Kaipi with all the advantage in the world. They are going to smoke up, actually, and look to intercept someone beforehand. It looks like that's not really going to be happening because the rest of TBE, they're smoked up as well. Looking at the Morphling, he has a replicate to jump to.
Yeah.
It's going to be super hard to kill off this Morphling, but they're going to try it anyway. Ziggy's going to not leave yet. Waveform down. No, not Waveform down. He's going to get doomed in the end, and now he needs a lot of help. Black Hole's there. It's going to catch absolutely everybody. And here comes the damage as well with the Meteor. That's already 2 down. Odie's 1 hit away from death. Fury's going to fall, and Odie's going to pop right back up, dodge the damage, and somehow get a little bit distance. Not quite enough. It's a full 5-man Black Hole. Are you kidding me? I said that wasn't going to happen, but then Cosby's like, ha, you're stupid. It's going to happen.
That's the dream for sure. And yeah, Bone 7 masturbated right there. I mean, that is unbelievable how well that worked out. He knew his team was nearby, and that can really be the only justification for him not jumping out to the replicate. He had his Lincoln's pocket, he waveform, he had more than enough time. He relied on come with me with the blink dagger, come with me, put his team on his back, and now they're gonna get a melee racks for it. I mean, the defense is not really mounted for the Radiant side. They'll get at least this melee racks, it seems. Then they can look to fight again. They do not have a Doom, but they've got everything else that they really need. 15 seconds till God Strength, but Gedrick's in trouble here. He's going to be healed up. They're actually going to have to expend the False Promise, though. That's 90 seconds on the sideline. Own in a little bit of trouble now as well. This Doom is going to die back. And, I mean, he didn't buy back, but he just died after dying the first time. And if you're going to jump in, they're going to look for the kill onto Sing Sing. They're not going to find it. God Strength is going to be popped, but they're not doing enough damage here. Waveform through. OD in trouble as well. Primal Roar comes out. Fury's going to drop. OD's in prison, but he'll die soon after this. He tries to blink back. Still in fighting shape, though, and why doesn't he retreat to the fountain there? The Death Ward brings him down. The Sunstrike is going to pop another Oracle. All of a sudden, bait in the mid lane from Bone 7 and game over. 2 games, almost exactly the same fashion. Kaipi almost look out of it. They slightly come back. They get an objective like an Aegis, and then boom, the game is just over. Really decisive team fighting from them there, and TBE just looked completely disjoint as a unit in that last fight in the bottom lane. And wow, convincing a couple of games from Kaipi after a really, really shaky game 1.
That was, I mean, if everyone else is watching on delay, if I was watching, I'd be like, okay, this game's probably going to go on for another 15 minutes or something like that. Like, maybe they get the bottom raxes if they're really lucky, Kaipi. But that bait was absolutely perfect. Hook, line, and sinker. And it's really hard to make that call. Like, it's hard to say Morphling, you know, the hard carry. You can try to bait them in towards the Enigma, because when we get this black hole, they're all going to die. But, hey, it doesn't matter. Mission accomplished. Black hole caught everyone. That was also a black hole with Midnight Pulse set up beforehand, so, you know, absolutely maximum amount of damage there. I do want to say that for Kaipi, it seems like their biggest weakness is when they're just a little bit careless with their positioning. Like when one player just like, okay, let's do this, and everyone else isn't really quite ready. So they will have to watch out for that in the future. But as it stands right now, a 2-1 win over TBE, who are going to be dropping down to the lower bracket. That means Kaipi have a future date with Tornado Rocks. Should be a very interesting matchup there. That also means we're done for the day. Guys, hope you enjoyed this series. It's been a pretty interesting one, to say the least. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Mrpdota. If you did enjoy it, be sure to follow the channel for the rest of the NoShang Invitational. Follow us on Twitter at Mikelorus, at Mrpdota. Got any final words before we close this down?
I mean, game ended in a flash. Really good resolve from Kaipi in all 3 games. I mean, they almost dragged back game 1. Were unable to do it. A couple of blunders from Bone 7, but maybe it's a game of Cry Wolf. Bone 7 throws a little bit at the first games, being caught out in lanes, and they feel like, oh, we're going to catch Bone 7 out and win the game once again. And he's just like, not this time. I got my team nearby. Excellent play in that pretty much one engagement which decided the game. So well played all together from both teams. Both teams look like they can go a long way in the tournament, and there's going to be some stiff competition for both of them. Definitely looking forward to Tornado Rocks versus Kaipi.
So another pro tip: feed in the first game to lure the enemies into a false sense of security, then get them in game 3.
That in pubs, though. Pubs don't come in SC3 format. So.
Perfect strategies here from our expert Dota player, MRP. Guys, we'll see you next time. Take care. GG.
GG.